Hello everybody, this is Matt from topbarbeesmn.blogspot.com. I have a few things that have happened in the last month since we got our bees. I'll talk more about the bees later, but I'll show you what I've been doing first. As some of you might remember, I took one of our extra Warre boxes and made it into a bait hive. Unfortunately, one empty Warre box is about half the internal volume of the recommended 40 liters for a bait hive. So what I've done here is I have another box that was on our hive, and I made another one, this one without a window, so it was a lot easier to make. And I've put the two Warre boxes together. Use these little clasps here to hold them. I didn't do them quite as tight as I probably should have. They're a little loose, but at least you can pick it up and they won't come apart. And then I just put some scrap lumber, made a base, made a telescoping lid so that water stays out. This one has the window in it, so if we put it out and get bees in it, we can actually look inside and see how their progress is coming. And then, what else about this? So this will be about 10 feet up in the air at my parents' house. Hopefully we'll catch some bees, but if not, we, had fun making it. Hold it up with bungees, make sure it's level, obviously. And then the nice thing about using a setup like this, if it works, if we catch bees, because this is just a standard Warre box. I mean, both of these are. As soon as bees are in here, we can just leave them in here. If we see bees coming in and out of this hive, we'll make an extra roof, an extra base. We'll take this exactly like it is, and a quilt. Wait for them to settle in it about a week or so, and then move it to a location where we want it, put it on the base, add the quilt, add the roof, and we're set to go with the beehive. So that's that one. I also made another one over here out of scrap lumber. This also is the volume of two Warre boxes. I made this out of some scrap wood that I found for free on Craigslist, excuse me. Made a telescoping lid for this one also. Now this one I made entirely with a skill saw, a jigsaw, and a hand drill to show how easy it was. So the inside here, instead of having a rebate cut, I just screwed on a piece of this wood lath, so the top bars can sit right here and right there. This wouldn't be a very good long-term thing because, there's this little sticking out from the wall. So as they attach the comb to the side, it'll get stuck there and it'll be hard to cut away. But the idea is that it was just super simple, easy to build in an afternoon with some scrap wood, with simple tools. And then we'll have to pay a little more close attention to this one than the other one, because the other one, if we leave them in there too long, I mean, it's already set up as a Warre hive. We just move it, put the roof on. This one, we will have to take the bars out and put them into a new hive, so we'll have to make sure that they don't really attach. We want them just on the top bars, and then take the comb out and put it into the new hive. There's just some holes drilled down here for them to come in and out of. We'll plug those up with cork, or I was thinking for transporting, if we need ventilation, we'll just put some 1/8" just staple some 1/8" hardware cloth just right over those so they can't get in and out, but they can still have ventilation. So that's that one right there. Just got to get the bars in it, and that'll be up, like I said, about 10 feet up in a tree. The other thing I did is make some frames. That's not the nicest one, this is nicer. So, took the same material, the wood lath, trimmed this up so it was the right width on my dad's table saw. This is the extra, this little guide in here is just the extra from when we cut this to the right width. It's not quite square, so I put it the little bit longer way going down into the frame. I'm going to take a Q-tip, melt some beeswax, and just rub this whole edge with melted beeswax as their guide. These are, let me see my boxes here so you know what everything is. These are 18 gauge 1-inch nails that I used on the base, both sides there. And then on the top, these three in the middle that are holding the guide slash brace on are 5/8 inch number 4 wood screws. These ones on the end that go down into the sidebars are a little longer. They're also number 4 wood screws, but these are 3/4 inch long. That single nail there going into the brace slash guide on the side is an 18 gauge nail also, but a little bit shorter. It's not the 1-inch. This is a 3/4, 18 gauge nail. And then this is something I saw on Sam's Wild Bees. My previous bar spacing was accomplished. You can see it. These are some bars that I had in the hive before. By drilling, I measured here, drilled a hole down through the top bar into the rebate that was cut in the box. And the nail that went in there wasn't tight, it just slipped in and out like a pin. Unfortunately, even with measuring all of these, they didn't all line up exactly, so there were some bars that only fit in one spot and you couldn't really interchange them. The other thing that was annoying is when you get them out, it kind of twisted the nail a little bit. They didn't always stay straight. Nails are falling out. I was losing them. And then the last thing, if you remember from one of my inspections, it looked like my bees were trying to do 9 combs across the top and not the 8 that I had it set up as. And with those little pins in, that was really hard if you wanted to try to change the spacing at all. So this one's a little easier to see, so I'll show you on here. This I found on samswildbees.com, and this is just a brilliant idea. It's just one of these number 4 3/4 inch wood screws. Just drill it into the side there, into the side there, and you can have them set sticking out the side. They just, you can adjust them. You know, if I have it, these frames are set up for 8 in a box. These top bars here are set up for 9 in a box. Where's my tape measure? Not sure where my tape measure is going to show you. Oh, there it is. So when they're 9 in a box, they end up, and this is just eyeballing it, and you just screw in and out, so I don't know if that's focused there or not, but it ends up being 33 millimeters from center to center. There's one that's 34, but I didn't bother fixing that one. So all the way across, these are set up 9 to a box, 33 millimeters center to center. These frames are set up 8 to a box, and they're 35 to 36 millimeters center to center. So we're going to finish making one other thing that I'm going to do. I ran out of the wood lath. I couldn't finish making everything. But as you notice on some of the pictures from our inspections, just looking through the windows, the bees don't attach the comb. You know, in a Warre hive, they attach it to the sides. But they don't attach it all the way down. They only attach it about halfway down, about right to there. So what some people do with Warre hives, instead of doing top bars and then having to cut the comb away from the sides, instead of doing frames, which take quite a bit of work to make, these they weren't hard to make, but they just took some time. What some people will do is make a half frame. So they'll just have this sidebar come down to right there, cut it off, basically exactly what I've done here, without the bottom half on it. So I'm going to try making some of those also, because then the idea is they use the guide to start the comb. They attach the comb about halfway down. You have another inch or so of the sidebar, just in case they decide to touch down a little further. And then the comb just naturally comes away and doesn't make it all the way to the frame. attaches there, attaches up. So this whole bottom part of the frame, they're likely not even going to ever attach to, so you just don't have it there. You have the top bar, sidebar about halfway down on either side. So when I get some more wood lath and rip those to width, I'm going to make some more of those. Exactly like these frames, just without this bottom part on it. Don't forget to subscribe to the blog and subscribe on our YouTube station, Top Bar Bees MN. Alright, so I did a little more work on this bait hive. I ended up having more lath than I thought. I had enough to make 8 half frames, so this is full now. 16 frames, so it's twice as wide as a normal Warre box, so the internal volume will be almost 40 liters, which is what they recommend for a bait hive. The entry holes are right here, so these 4 are half frames, so that those aren't blocked, and the middle ones are full frames, and then the last 4 are half frames again. So I'll show you what one of these half frames looks like. So this part right here, I'm going to take a Q-tip, melt some beeswax, and put wax along there for the guide. It also acts as a brace for these sidebars. Since there's nothing attached down on the bottom, they're a little bit wobblier than the full frames. So hopefully the idea is that the bees will start the comb along the guide, they attach it almost to the end of here, and they come off. The comb comes along here, doesn't attach to the bottom of the hive, comes up, reattaches the side about there, and up. And then again we've got those little screws there, the guide screws. Like I said, this box is spaced out so that it's equal to 8 bars per Warre box. So these are a little further apart than the other one I tried spacing about 9 to a box. So we'll get the wax on there, get this out to my parents' house tomorrow, and it's June, what is it right now, June 11th I think, so swarm season in Minnesota. Been kind of cold and rainy though, so I'm not too worried that I missed much. But we'll get these out and see if we can get any bees. Thanks for watching.